Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
This is my first time joining WebEx from my desktop, so it's a lot better.
It's it's better.
It's better than a laptop because it's so much bigger.
hmm
And anyway, so far it's better. But I do have a little funky lamp here that's trying to light up my. There we go. It's kind of dark, but there's not much I can do about that.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Cherie. This is Zita.
Good morning. How are you?
I don't know why it has me labeled as Board of Ethics and Government, but I'm going to see if I can rename myself and then maybe go out and come back in.
Well, that's fine. It has me named that way too. I wouldn't worry about it. I'll still let them know that we're the Office of Open Government. It's fine.
Okay, sounds good.
Hi, Larry. I think you're muted. Can't hear you. Try speaking again.
Hello, everyone. How are you all doing?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
There we go.
Now you can hear me better, right? Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Mr. Chair, we'll be ready to start in about a minute. We almost finished setting up for you, okay?
Can you guys hear us online? Give us a little thumbs up so we know we're good. Well, welcome. Give us a couple of minutes, like Mr. Wash just said, guys. Hang on. All right, guys, we're going to start the meeting. I'm going to hit the record button. Yep. So just so you guys know, everything is being recorded on here and will be used online as well. So we are going to go ahead and start the meeting.
All right. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the third Tip Workers Coordinating Council meeting. As the chair of this council, I am calling the meeting to order. Thank you for your participation. Today's agenda, we have call to order, roll call, public comments, an approval of the previous meeting's minutes, overview and presentation of the Open Meetings Act presented by the Office of Open Government, Board of Ethics, and Government Accountability. Scan here, beautiful. I will go ahead and start the roll call. Alan Karnofsky, Department of Employment Services. Alan, I saw Alan. And then I didn't. I'll come back to Alan. Jonathan Kuehl, Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs. Here. Beautiful. Monica Palacio, Office of Human Rights.
Present.
Jennifer McCahill, Office of Nightlife and Culture.
Present.
Tracy Javier, Representative appointed by the Mayor.
Present.
Zachary Hoffman, Representative appointed by the Chair of the Council.
Present.
I know that I saw Alan's name pop up.
Mr. Chair, I'm reaching out to him now. Give me one moment.
Thank you.
Looks like you popped back on there.
Hi, Alan, can you hear us? Okay, we're just doing roll call. Are you present?
I'm present.
Thank you very much. And Jonathan, I still have not seen come up.
Jonathan is on, Mr. Chair.
Oh, there he is. He's under a different name. Fantastic. All right. Everyone is present. Let's approve the previous meeting's minute.
Mr. Chair, you do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting?
So move. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
The meeting's minutes are approved. We'll now have public comments. Is there anyone from the public that would like to make any comment? Going once, going twice. Okay, we will move on. No comments from the public. Let's have, excuse me, a presentation of the Open Meetings Act by the Office of Open Government, Board of Ethics, and Government Accountability. Is there a representative from Bega?
Yes, I am Sharita Berry, and I will be presenting the Open Meetings Act training to you all this morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Ms. Berry. Please, whenever you're ready.
Can everyone see the presentation?
Mhm.
Can everyone see that? Okay. All right.
Yes.
The Office of Open Government is part of the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability. The office enforces the Open Meetings Act and regulations. Our office contacts are Director Nicole Allen, Chief Counsel Scotty Barton, myself, Cherie DeBerry, Attorney Advisor, as well as Attorney Advisors Zita Orji and Nicholas Weil. Our IT specialist is Mr. Kevon Bridges. The Office of Open Government educates public bodies as well as the public on open meetings laws. The Office of Open Government also provides training and advice on the implementation of the District of Columbia Freedom of Information Act. One of the goals of the Office of Open Government is to advocate for government openness as well as transparency. Why do we have open meetings laws? Open meetings laws require that, with exception, most meetings of a public body be open to the public along with their decisions and records. The law is designed to give the public confidence in decisions made by public bodies. What is the definition of a meeting? What constitutes a meeting is usually defined by its purpose and the number of participants. Is the purpose to perform public business, and has a quorum been met? What is a meeting as defined by the Open Meetings Act? A meeting is a gathering of a quorum of the members of a public body where board members consider, conduct, or advise on public business. Public business includes gathering information, taking testimony, discussions, deliberations, recommendations, as well as voting. Gatherings may be held in person, by telephone, video conference, or by other electronic means of communication. What is not a meeting? A chance or social gathering where no business is discussed, that is not considered a meeting. For example, you attend a holiday party and other members are in attendance, that's not considered a meeting. You have a chance encounter, you run into other members of your public body in, say, a Costco, that's not considered a public meeting. A press conference is also not considered a meeting. But please note, if there is no quorum, then the public body cannot move forward with conducting a meeting. And a quorum is half of the members plus one, unless it's established by enabling legislation, a mayor's order, or regulations that it would be another number. What is not a meeting? Email exchanges, conversations between members of a public body via email. Subcommittee meetings are not considered meetings, but you have to be very careful when you meet with subcommittees. Make sure that the number of participants do not constitute a quorum. If it constitutes a quorum, it may possibly be considered a meeting at that point. The following public bodies must adhere to the Open Meetings Act: the government councils, including the District of Columbia, including the Council of the District of Columbia, boards, commissions, board of directors, advisory boards, and board of trustees of public charter schools. What are not considered public bodies? District agencies are not public bodies. The mayor's cabinet, ANC commissioners, District of Columbia courts, and professional staff of public bodies outside the presence of a quorum. Open meetings. A public bodies meeting must be open to the public unless there is justification for closure. A meeting is open if the public is permitted to be physically present. A meeting is open if news media is permitted to be physically present. And a meeting is open if the meeting is televised. Notice of a public body meeting. Notice is extremely important. The public has a right to know when a meeting is taking place, and the public body must give as much notice as possible, but notice must be given 48 hours or 2 business days before each meeting, whichever is greater. Notice must be physically posted in the school, the office, or place readily accessible to the public. Notice must be posted along with the proposed agenda on the public body's website or the District of Columbia's website, which is called our central meeting calendar. And it can be, you can see the central meeting calendar at open-dc.gov. Public body must timely post upcoming meetings and an annual schedule of meetings. If you are interested in posting to the central meeting calendar, please contact our IT specialist, Mr. Pravon Bridges, and he'll be able to give you the administrative rights to post to the website, to the meeting calendar. What should the notice include? The notice should include the time, the date, the location, as well as the proposed agenda. If there will be a closed session, justification, the notice must include the justification for the closure, and that's extremely important if you're going to have a closed session. The notice should also include this statement. This meeting is governed by the Open Meetings Act. Please address any questions or complaints arising under this meeting to the Office of Open Government at opengovoffice@dc.gov. The following statement must be included at the end of all draft and final meeting agendas. Closed meetings justifications. The following justifications can be found at 2-575B. The first justification would be a court order or a statute. That's where a law or a court order requires the matter not to be discussed in public. It may be a discussion, negotiations of a contract, attorney-client privilege, where you're obtaining advice from an attorney during the meeting, trade secrets, testing or grading, personnel issues, and matters involving a student's personal information. Also, evaluations by eligible chartering authorities, trainings, collective bargaining negotiations, administering, preparing, or grading tests, deliberations, public safety issues, as well as investigation. These are justifications for allowing a closed meeting. The protocol for a closed executive session: the presiding officer will open the public meeting and establish a quorum. The presiding officer will move to enter into an executive session, and another member of the public body will second the motion, and that motion must include the justification for the closed session. The presiding officer will take the roll call vote, and if motion passes, you're able to enter into the closed executive session. You're only able to discuss the matters referenced in the draft agenda. If the justification is not listed on the draft agenda, then you are not able to discuss that matter at that particular meeting. All meetings are to be recorded, whether open or closed. After the closed session has concluded, the presiding officer will reopen the public meeting and when appropriate, report publicly any official action that was taken in closure and adjourn the meeting. All meetings are to be recorded. Recordings may be audio recording, video recordings, or detailed meeting minutes, as well as transcripts. And if you provide a transcript, please confer with the vendor to ensure that no copyright restrictions apply regarding posting the minutes publicly. Publication requirements. Draft detailed meeting minutes must be publicly available no later than 3 business days after the meeting occurs. A notation must be included at the top of that document that details the meeting, and it will be posted to the website on the next meeting date. Audio recordings, video recordings, as well as transcripts must be available no later than 7 days after the meeting takes place. And please do not destroy meeting minutes or recordings for a minimum of 5 years. DC Official Code Section 2-578A requires preservation of all meeting records for a minimum of 5 years. 3 DCMR Section 10409.8 requires compliance with district record preservation laws and the District of Columbia General Record Schedule concerning disposition of electronic meeting records and written meeting minutes. During the public health emergency, public bodies must meet remotely. Members can meet via video, electronic conference, or electronic means if reasonable accommodations are made for the public to accommodate the public's right to attend. Meetings are recorded. All votes are taken by roll call, and all provisions of the OMA are adhered to that are not currently waived or told. Public health emergency rules, physical postings at schools, offices, or other physical locations are not required during a public health emergency. And the Act has also paused or told the time period for making a copy of the record available during the public health emergency. But the Office of Open Government recommends that you make the recordings available as soon as possible after the meeting. Public comment is allowed only if the public body's enabling legislation mandates a period for public comment. However, a public body may allow public comment absent a statutory requirement to do so. And unless the requirement is already spelled out in enabling legislation or bylaws, a public body has the right to regulate the time allotted for public comment. Cancellations. How do we cancel meetings? A meeting cancellation is a change in schedule, and it requires as much notice as possible, but no less than 48 hours or 2 business days, whichever is greater, before the meeting was to occur. Public bodies should make sure that the canceled meeting is noticed and the public is aware that the meeting is canceled. The public has a right to know that the meeting, in fact, did not take place. Can emergency meetings be held? Yes, a public body may meet in case of an emergency. The presiding officer must give the public notice at the same time notice is given to the public body members. The presiding officer must explain the subject of the meeting, the nature of the emergency, as well as how the public was notified of the emergency meeting. There is a complaint process. An aggrieved party who may remain anonymous may complain to the Office of Open Government if they feel that a meeting has violated the OMA. The complainants may refer to past meetings. They may submit the complaint in writing, in person, online, mail, or via email. Director Allen may request additional information. She may possibly dismiss the complaint. She may authorize an advisory opinion, or the parties may agree to a conciliation. Enforcement. The Office of Open Government may bring a lawsuit in the Superior Court of the District of Columbia for injunctive relief for any violations of the OMA before a meeting has taken place or after the meeting has taken place. The court may order an appropriate remedy, such as requiring additional forms of notice, postponing a meeting, or declaring an action taken in a meeting to be void. The Office of Open Government is here to advise and to train members of public bodies, so lawsuits do not have to be brought in Superior Court. We are here to help. There has only been one lawsuit brought since the establishment of the Office of Open Government as of today. As I stated before, Director Allen, Chief Counsel Barton, myself, Attorney Advisor Orji, Attorney Advisor Weil, and IT Specialist Kevon Bridges, we make up the Office of Open Government currently. And Mr. Bridges' email address is kevon.bridges@dc.gov if you want to speak with him regarding obtaining administrative rights to the central meeting calendar. I want to thank you for allowing the Office of Open Government to present the Open Meetings Act training to you this morning. And that concludes the training.
Thank you. May I ask, are there any follow-up questions for the Board of Ethics? No question. Great. So that's all we have on the agenda for this afternoon,
Mr. Chair,
this morning. Yes.
I think so now, Johnny, is there a second portion of the training?
I believe the ethics side of it has a presentation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Rashi's there. Rashi's there.
Yeah, I'm here for that from the Office of Open Government.
I'm sorry. I
That's
didn't
okay.
want to cut you off. Yes, please. We are ready.
All right, I will make it quick.
Did I miss?
Yeah, I need to share my PowerPoint with you. Yes. Oh boy, is that working? All right, are y'all able to see the PowerPoint? Okay. So my name is Rashi Raj. I'm the General Counsel for the Office of Open Government, and wanted to share with you a quick presentation about ethics. And of course, if you have any follow-ups, we're always available to you if any of it doesn't make sense, or you have specific questions about issues you're having. We are here for that, exactly to help you. So what is it that we do? The Office of Government Ethics provides training just like this for boards and commissions, for district agencies, government employees. We do a monthly ethics training for government employees because it is condition, part of their employment. We offer ethics advice as well, and that you can reach out directly to any attorney in the office, or to, we have a general mailbox as well. I'll give you all the contact info at the end. And we also accept complaints and do investigations into these complaints as well. So that is mostly a summary of that. Now, if you or anyone is found to be in violation of ethics rules, what could happen could be a censure, some kind of admonition, whether that's informal and not public, or formal and public. There can be some kind of remediation. And if you're in a probationary period, if you're a government employee, that could cause a termination. And there are fines of up to $5,000 per violation. Now, as far as the remediation, like it's it would be kind of a weird situation. Let's say it's some kind of conflict of interest, and you are able to get a friend a contract for, somebody who's a conflict, get them a contract for a certain amount of money. That might be an amount of money that would be part of the remediation. But I don't think that yeah, we'll have too many of those problems right now. Hopefully not. So we'll just quickly go through the 10 principles of ethical conduct, and please jump in and stop me if you have any questions. I'm not able to see the chat if you were chatting any of the questions. So if you would just unmute yourself and jump right in, and I can answer those. So, number one, public office is a public trust. And I think a lot of the ethics rules you will find are very straightforward, kind of common sense rules. But that doesn't mean, just because it's common sense doesn't mean we all remember it all the time. So don't use your title or position for personal gain for yourself or for others. Do not send an email with your work or your board signature for something that involves a personal matter that's not related to what you're doing. Example they have here is to a mortgage company. That's not my favorite example because if you have had to buy or sell anything during the pandemic, your mortgage company will call your work multiple times to figure out if you're employed. So let's say, it's a doctor's appointment, or if it's a legal matter, probably don't use your work email for that. So also fundraising for private or nonprofit entities, that is not an acceptable use of your work email. And that's not to say you can't do these things, just not on your work email. Now, avoid gifts and payments from interested parties. We also call this bribery, which you, I'm sure, have seen and heard about in movies and TV, all of that. Now, so don't accept gifts from lobbyists, from vendors, contractors, things that are regulated by the district, such as Pepco or Comcast. Anyone who's trying to do business with the district and trying to get that in through you, don't accept gifts from these people. You can, always tell them like, thank you, but I can't accept that because of my job. So unsolicited gifts should be returned or donated to the district or destroyed. And if you have further questions on gifts or, what's an acceptable or unacceptable gift, always reach out to us. We can get back to you very quickly, same day if needed. If it's an urgent issue, if sometimes there is a one-time exception for perishable items. Let's say Comcast delivered to you, they delivered just to me donuts. Like I can't accept that. But one time I can leave that in a common area and allow my coworkers to enjoy, but Comcast cannot send that to me again. Next time they send it, they have to be destroyed, returned, whatever else. Number 3, avoid outside payments for government work, also called the salary supplementation rule. So this is just for your district government work. No one else except for the district should be paying you for district work. So there are federal criminal penalties and district criminal penalties for that. I think you may have heard of that as like a pay to play. I think that's generally what it is called. Number 4, avoid financial conflicts of interest. I think all of these kind of go hand in hand. Don't take any action that could benefit you or someone close to you financially. Let's say your spouse is a lobbyist and your spouse is a lobbyist for, I don't know, FedEx. And, all of a sudden your agency takes a huge contract with FedEx and, this seems to work out well for both of you. But, you need to disclose those types of conflicts and in writing and let yourself be recused from those as well. So that way, that if your agency decides, to make a big contract with FedEx, you were recused from it, the process is clean and it doesn't give you any kind of taint of looking like you had a conflict of interest and that you were meddling in this, trying to make sure that you and your spouse got rich off of this deal type thing. So if you have any questions about a possible conflict or a conflict that arises, of course, reach out and we're happy to help you with that. Act impartially. So don't give preferential treatment to anyone. I think that kind of fits in with the last one, avoiding conflicts as well. Don't give preferential treatment to your friends or to people you know, political donors or allies, family members, anyone who, who can say that, excuse me, that they have a connection to you, and that would come back to you. So act impartially. Next, safeguard government resources. So don't misuse government property. Anything that costs the government money is a violation. So whether you have a laptop from the district, an iPhone, a tablet of some sort, and I think now you may have, if you're working for the district and you're at home, you may have all different kinds of things at home. I've got 2 monitors over here in addition to this laptop. So there's all kinds of government property that is everywhere. In addition, our email policy is that the mayor's order is in place that says you must use your official email for government business, not for private email. I think we discussed that on one of the earlier slides. Don't email your mortgage company from your email. Avoid representational conflicts of interest. And some of this is, it could be for attorneys, or it could be coming before a board or a commission. Let's say somebody, has been fined by the Board of Ethics and Government Accountability. I can't represent them in fighting the board to get that fine overturned or anything like that. I think that rule is kind of like you can't sit on both sides of the table. You wouldn't be able to in any other matter. So so be very careful with that. If somebody asks you to, you can always ask us and get an opinion, and keep yourself from being in a sticky situation. Safeguard confidential, non-public information. So I think this one goes without saying, don't leak non-public information. Includes talking about your job on social media, like Twitter or Facebook. There's 100 different places you can go now on social media. Discussing non-public matters that were in closed session of your board's meetings. Anything that's not supposed to be public that is confidential, I wouldn't call the press and say, hey, guess what I heard in closed session today? Probably not the best idea. So be very careful with that and safeguard that information. 2 more. So abide by revolving door restrictions. So once you leave government, you have to abide by certain restrictions for post-employment. That would include, there are really specific rules. If you worked on a particular matter, that may be a lifetime prohibition, but they're not all, they aren't all that restrictive, because DC government doesn't want you to leave here and not be able to have another job. So there are all matter of levels in there. So of course, it's great to have a consultation with us. Happy to put it all in writing for you of what is safe for you, what is not safe for you. And like that, also, you have, if you're a former employee, you have free post-employment advice from us for life. So if anything ever comes up later, 10 years down the road, you're like, hey, I got this deal to, work on this contract with Pepco, but it, relates to something I did at the district, call us. We'll give you the advice on that. And that'll give you the safe harbor too. We're not, if you're coming to Vega for advice, we're not going to necessarily come after you for the enforcement unless you're, I guess, blatantly not taking that advice. Finally, disclose waste or illegal conduct by government officials to the appropriate authorities. So that could be to Vega, to the Inspector General, anything that you find to be a violation of the code of conduct or you think might be, you have an affirmative obligation to report that. So failure to do so itself is a violation, and cooperation of other people in the investigation is mandatory. So that's that. And finally, if you need advice, you want anything clarified, you need to make a complaint. These are our contact information. We have a hotline, which is 202-535-1002. The main number is 481-3411, and our email is bega@dc.gov. And all of us have access to that box, so we can check that, and it is checked daily all the time, so it is forwarded to the right person. If you need it to come to me and you put, "Hey Rashi, I want to talk to you," it will get forwarded to me. So if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those. And if not, hope you guys all have a great day. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Now I believe we've come to the end of the agenda. Will both of those presentations get forwarded via email? Can we have access to those?
Sure.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. With that, I have nothing else. We need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
this is Monica. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of internet problems. So I don't know if you can see me right now.
I can see you.
Oh, good. Okay. I can't see myself, but I wanted to, if you would allow me, take 2 minutes to introduce someone from the Office of Human Rights.
Please.
Hi everyone. I wanted to introduce Larry Villegas Perez. As promised during our first meeting, I told you that we would be onboarding a manager for the tipped wage workers program here at OHR. And Larry was onboarded probably 3 or 4 weeks ago now. If it's okay, I'd like him to introduce himself to everyone, just so they know who he is. And he will be your main point of contact. In addition to myself, I'm always available, but he'll be the main point of contact in terms of the scope of work that OHR has to carry out under the statute. So Larry, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning. My name is Larry Villegas Perez. But since this is not Spanish class, I'm not going to make anybody roll their R's. I'm a Washingtonian now. I have been here for over 20 years. Most of my experience has been with the federal government doing contracting work and training around the country. I think I have been to 23 cities or so. I have been working also in nonprofit organizations in DC. Some of you may know Smile, Sasha Bruce, Casa Ruby, and I was one of the trainers in the LGBT Office of the Mayor doing training to create safe spaces for homeless LGBTQ youth. So I'm very familiar with the networks in DC and working with DC government, federal government. And I'm very excited to be here to work with all of you so we can do the best for DC residents.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if anybody else wants to say anything, but just wanted you to meet Larry. So thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Happy to have you. I did also notice that there are members of the public that joined us for this meeting, so I wanted to say thank you. At least Candace, I know. Miss Asia Ford, I do not know. If you're there, can you introduce yourself very quickly?
Ford is a member of our staff.
Oh, okay, perfect. Well, great. So we definitely would like to encourage more members of the public to join these meetings, even if they do not have comments. So thanks, Candace, for jumping on. With that, I don't have anything else. Does anyone else have final comments or questions? Great. Would anyone like to provide a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned. You all have a great rest of the day. Thank you for participating again.
Thank you.